Hello everybody, how's it going? I am Louis, the average guy 1983. Thank you very much for joining me on this video today. In today's video, I'm going to be going over how I installed the dash cam on my Inmotion RS, and then afterwards I'm going to take out my other scooters that have dash cams and do like a comparison type video for you guys on the difference between the Chigee AIO5, the LBW Dashcam that's on the Roadrunner Pro, and also the Wolfbox G930 mirror dashcam that's on the Segway GT1 and the Segway 9-Bot Max G2. With that said, let's go ahead and roll the intro so we can get started. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to show you guys here real quick is just how I have the Inmotion RS. Like I said in one of the last videos that I had previously done, I did mention that I was going to take off the screws that are right here on this area here so that it could be a lot easier for me to just lift up the deck and be able to show you guys how I routed the wiring. Now, it's really easy to take off as long as you have high quality Allen keys or hex keys. The main reason why I say that is because if you have very poorly designed or manufactured hex keys, you could end up stripping the screws that are on the deck, especially the stock ones. My RS does not have stock screws. It actually has stainless steel ones that I actually purchased at Ace Hardware, and I think I paid like almost $30 or $50 for all the screws that I bought, so they weren't cheap, but they work well. I'm able to easily take the screws off and on as I'm always working on my RS and changing things up. So the way you see my RS right now is not always going to remain the same. As you guys probably remember from the video that I did going up to Mount Baldy with my friends, I realized that these big fog lights that I have right here are just unfortunately not bright enough to be able to be seen well or see in front of me at a very, very dark area. However, here around the city, where there's lighting, like Long Beach Group Rides, Glendale PV, etc., it works great the way it is. Now, would I be going to Mount Baldy anytime soon? Probably not. But I at least wanted to share that with you guys and a couple of little extra things that I've already done on this RS off camera that I pretty much maxed out on this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with how I mounted this thing so you guys can understand how everything was mounted, and also the power that a lot of people are asking, hey, how did you power this dash cam and how did you run the wire to the rear dash cam as well. So let me get you guys a little bit closer so I can show you guys this area right here. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so I have you guys here closer to the handlebar area. This is actually what I see every time I ride the scooter. I have the Chigee AIO5 in this position because this allows me to take a good look at it. I do have to occasionally face my helmet like down to look in order for me to be able to see what's in front of me. However, this dash cam does have some really nice features that are jam-packed, and unfortunately, even though it's priced at $598 to start, and this is without TPMS, this is without the fancy wireless remote that I can use to answer phone calls and control my music and things like that on the menu screen. It has an OBD2 sensor through Bluetooth, and the thing is that on an electric scooter, that is a completely useless feature because we don't have OBD2 on electric scooters. But I bought it because of the fact that it is a very high quality unit. It has a good reputation. The company has been known for having these type of dash cams. They have two or three other models that are below this one that have been working out great. And one thing that I like about this one is that it has blind spot monitoring. This is a new feature that they added on this Chigee AIO5 versus the other previous models. And I like that you have two different ways of having that feature on. You can have it where it just shows you like a caution bar on the sides here, this side or this side across this way, or at the very bottom all the way across the screen. It'll give you a caution to let you know, hey, there's a car behind you within 20 feet or so away from you. If you're riding at 18 or 30 miles an hour, you can set that custom speed on the screen as well, and it will warn you to let you know there's somebody behind you. And it could either give you just that screen warning, or it can also give you a loud beep sound that you guys have probably heard before on other group rides I've done, where you got to hear a loud beep sound. It's because of this, and it's very loud, so it will let you know that even if you're riding at about 50 or 60 miles an hour on a motorcycle, for example, right? This thing is loud enough to let you know, hey, there's somebody behind you if you can't see it on your mirrors for whatever reason. Or you don't have mirrors like me, I took them off. But this is one of the big features that it has. The second thing it has is also the capability of being able to use this with an app. You're able to easily download the videos from this unit directly to your smartphone and save it on your smartphone's memory, and that's really cool. On the LBW that I have on the Roadrunner Pro or the Wolfbox G930, I have to remove the SD card, insert it into my computer, and download the files there, which I'll explain a little bit about those two other units later. But this is one of the reasons why the unit costs so much money and why it's so expensive. The only thing I don't like is just the fact that if you want TPMS, you have to pay an extra $100 for that. If you want the wireless remote with this little thing here that it comes across, you have to pay another $100. This visor thing that I have here for like a sunshade type thing or wind screen, whatever the hell this is called, this was an extra $30. There is a screen protector on here made out of glass versus the soft plastic one that it comes with standard, and this one was also another $20. So it's like it's really expensive. By the time I was done putting all of this together and getting all of the accessories, I paid over $860 for this unit with taxes, and not everybody has that kind of money. This is why I'm also going to be recommending the LBW. But again, if you're looking for blind spot monitoring and you want a really good high quality dash cam, the Chigee AIO5 is the way to go. However, if you're on a budget, you don't want to spend $600 for that, and you want to get a dash cam that can still allow you to record, you know, in front of you and behind you, and you want TPMS to be included without any additional pricing increase, then the LBW that's on the Roadrunner Pro will be the way to go. The difference is that that one doesn't have any super smart features like the blind spot monitoring. It doesn't have an app-based type software you can use. This one here also has over-the-air software updates via Wi-Fi, and that is something that you can get automatically with this thing if you just remotely check if it needs an update. You don't get that with the Wolfbox G930 or the LBW Dashcam that's on the Roadrunner Pro. That's something else to take into account. So with that said, like you guys can see here, I have it mounted with a 1-inch ball mount bracket that I did have to pay extra money for to be able to install this. And the bracket does have a type of screw, I believe it's called a security torque screw, that has like a little pin in the middle of the screw to make it really difficult for people to try to steal the unit, because this is on, this is not going to come off. You can see that I'm moving it around and it stays in the same spot. The only thing that's able to easily move is the screen itself from the Inmotion RS. With that said though, I'm going to show you guys the bottom area here where I have this battery pack here, because I think it's really important for you guys to see how I wired this up. Let me go ahead and take you guys to that now. Alrighty, so this right here is the bag that I'm using right now. It's a Wildman bag, and I use it for 2 batteries. One battery is for the Chigee AIO5, which I've disconnected because this is a little tube type plug that I'm using. I basically connected the red and yellow cable together as the accessory line and the power together, and I plugged it into the positive side and then the ground wire to the negative side, and the cables are traveling from back here. You can kind of see them right there, right below my finger. See that? That's where the wires are traveling from. I just drilled a hole to get these wires through so that this way I can keep this nice and tidy and nothing will like disconnect accidentally. Also, I decided to run the cables on the edges here instead of the top, because when I had it up here, I actually accidentally cut the wire by accident because my speaker was pressing against it back and forth and it just cut it. So now I have this cable here, and then the other cable, you can see that it's right here on this side. This is the one for the Chigee AIO5. This other cable that you see right here that's a little bit thinner is for the fog lights that you see right here at the bottom, this one here and this one. And I also have some rear tail lights that I connected to this line so that this way I can have more lighting at the nighttime. This is the battery that I'm currently using. This is a Talentcell. The model number is PB120B1, and I will put a link in the description for you guys for this one. But there is an input for battery charging, and you do have to set the power switch to on in order for it to charge. Once it's fully charged, your battery charger will tell you, it will go from a red light to a green light, and then you can go ahead and unplug it and turn the battery off and you're ready to go. This other side is the only output, which does 12 volts. From here, it just connects to the plug that I have right here for the Chigee AIO5, and we're good to go. The other battery pack that I have is also a Talentcell battery, and I have it on the front part of the panel, and you can kind of see right here. This is the other Talentcell battery, and you can somewhat see that right there. It says Talentcell, and this is a smaller size battery, but I don't need anything too big. This one's a little bit more crazy because on this one you can see that there's some little dots here up in the front. The dots here light up in green, and it's a total of 5 when you turn it on, and you do have to have it on. And this is a input and output for the battery pack so that you can charge it up, and it's the same mechanism as the other one. It uses the same exact charger, and it turns red when it's charging and then turns green on the charger itself when it's fully charged. You just disconnect the cable and then turn off the thing, and it's ready to go. But this is what I'm using for the accessory lights, which is basically just the fog lights here on this side, and then the red tail lights that I now have plugged in. So now that I showed you guys that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the front, how I have the wiring going down towards the neck area or the stem, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, my friends, so before we go to the main wiring, I did want to show you guys the side of the Chigee AIO5, how I have it mounted. Right here, I have this little handlebar type grippy thingy from Ram Mounts. Look, there's a lot of better options out there now that are much higher quality than this plastic thing. However, the reason why I chose to stay with this is because I already paid for the unit, obviously, right? And I used to have the Wolfbox G930 mounted on this Inmotion RS before I upgraded to the Chigee. So what I decided to do was, since I already had a 1-inch ball mount, I decided to order the 1-inch ball mount that's made for this Chigee AIO5 versus the little 1/2-inch one that it comes with. And it does have its own hardware, so just know that you don't need this if you were to buy the Chigee AIO5 because it actually already comes with one. But I decided to use the 1-inch ball mount because it only came with the 1/2-inch one. With that said, you can see that I have a metal bracket here that's attached for the ball mount at the bottom and the ball mount of the actual Chigee AIO5 that has a security torque screw. This allows this thing to be secured. It makes it much more harder to steal. There's a lot of people that can actually get a hold of standard Allen keys, but there isn't really a way to get a hold of security Torx keys unless you buy them online. So whoever's going to try to rob you, they really have to be well prepared and know what they need to bring with them in order to try to, you know, take something from you. On top of that, these cables are very well routed underneath the plastic of this thing, so it's not like it's easy for them to steal anyways. They're gonna have to cut it off, and if they don't know how to mount the wiring for the dash cams, this unit is going to be completely useless for them. It's mounted on a short extender for the handlebar right here at the bottom where I have my Acrunu light, which I still recommend. All of my scooters have this light. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys this area here in the front so that you guys can see how I routed the cables. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so hopefully you guys can see this okay. Right here at the bottom, you can see that I have the GPS sensor, or you can say antenna, for the Chigee AIO5. Now, one advantage, man, of the LBW Dashcam that I have on the Roadrunner Pro is that this little GPS puck that I have here is actually built in on the LBW. So all you need is just 3 wires: front dashcam, rear dashcam, and your power wire, and you're good to go. On this one, I just had to do an extra step to be able to mount this, and as you guys can see, I did have to put a hole right here. And the hole, I don't remember what size I made. I just made it large enough to fit that little M8 Gillette plug that this thing comes with a bunch of wires on it. And I ran it through, and it is installed in here, so the wire is coming out through the top. So I have a lot of wires right here, man, that you can kind of see. They're all coming out from the top part and then making their way down. So I just wanted to show you guys this because I think it's important for you guys to see how I install it. I just don't want to take anything off, so I do apologize. I don't want to take this off because I already mounted it. It was a little difficult to like get this mount to reinstall after I installed the bag and everything. So I'm going to leave it as this. I'm just showing you guys like a walkthrough of what I have done. But this is the GPS for the Chigee AIO5 that gives me all the information. Like, for example, when it comes to my Google Maps that I use for the Android Auto, which it also has Apple CarPlay, it all functions very well. It gives me my GPS information with the dash cam for how fast I'm riding. So in case a police officer pulls me over and says, hey, you were going 50 miles an hour on a 35 and I really wasn't, I have this here to back me up, as well as the recording. So be nice to the officer, accept the ticket, but don't admit that you're at fault. Go to court, get yourself a lawyer, and make sure that you get yourself protected, because that's one of the reasons why I recommend dash cams on the side of the accident that I was involved in, which I'll talk to you guys about that too later on in the video, towards the end, to give you guys updates on that. But yeah, let me go ahead and take you guys a little bit more down so you guys can see how the rest of the wiring is traveling through here, and hopefully you guys can get a really good look at this. So if we start moving this camera a little bit down right here, you're gonna find this little bulky area right there. And let me fix the focus real quick. There you go. And you can see right down here, all the cables are here. You can see it. See that? That little silver plug that you see right there, that's for one of the dash cams. And all of them look like this. The one that's red is for the power wire, and the orange ones are for the front and rear dash cams. They do have labels, which is nice about the Chigee. You don't have that with the LBW. So there's some expense, costs that were done, like reductions, but this is where it's mounted and it's secured. So it's tightened down, similar to that of the motor cables for the Inmotion RS. It has a little locking mechanism that you just turn around and you lock it, and there you go. And that's how it is. The other cable for the dash cam is the same, but it's black, and it has that same little silver thing. So this is where I had to kind of like get a little bit creative and kind of try to cover this up as much as possible so it doesn't look too ugly. And then this way, the rest of the cabling looks nice. But this is pretty much how I did it. And again, this cable that you see here, this is just for the horn of the scooter. It's not for anything else. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so now that I have officially showed you guys where I have the main wires at, the excess wire for the front of the camera is actually going upwards, and it's just wrapped around this area here. This is why it looks very bulky, man. It was not that difficult to put on because since it is made for a motorcycle, the dash cam wire is a lot shorter. So it wasn't a lot to like round up together with some zip ties and put down right here, but you can see why this area is a lot more bulky. With that said, let me drop down this camera lens thing real quick and show you guys where I mounted the front dash cam. Right here, my friends, is where I have the front dash cam. Right below this headlight assembly, there is a like some kind of reflective bracket, and what I did was, besides using the adhesive that came with this mount, which this is a really good high quality adhesive mount, I put in 4 screws carefully without breaking the plastic on this thing, so I can run the screws all the way to the back of the bracket and have this mounted. This is where I have the front camera, just so you guys can see. And the excess wire, like I mentioned, is up above around this area right here, traveling as far as it can up until it's like nicely tucked in and it doesn't look like too much out of place. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead now and show you guys how I traveled the rear camera, because it's the cable's actually over here on this side and it's traveling even further down. So let me go ahead and take you guys to that part now. Alrighty, my friends, I'm hoping that you guys have been able to find this helpful so far, man. If not, I do apologize. I just don't want to take apart my scooter completely to show you guys how I routed all the cables. But right here where this wire loom is at, this is where the rear dash cam cable is actually routing to. And as you guys can see, I do have these little plugs. These plugs right here are very similar to that of the Chigee AIO5, but it's basically for my fog lights up in the front. And I'll show you guys on the side of the deck what I have here. But as you guys can see right here, I basically already maxed the crap out of this thing out. I cannot cram any more wires out of this thing. Right here you can see that there's a bunch of freaking wires. Look at all of this. I have so many wires, from like the dash cam cable to the rear deck light cables. Like, dudes, it is like jam packed, dude. There's no more space in this thing, not even on the opposite side. But I just wanted to show you guys that I just ran it through here for the rear camera all the way this way. I zip tied it down to the stock cable that you see down here, and I ran it all the way into this side of the deck. So now that I showed you guys how I ran it from here, now it's time for me to show you guys the side of the deck now, and show you guys how I ran it on the inside of the deck, so you guys can see how this cable for the dash cam has been ran. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so hopefully you guys can see this good. Right here I have a cable that's running with this red and black wire. This is just my ambient lighting from the back of the deck light, the original turn signal. I have these lights powered with the Talentcell battery for the fog lights, so they turn on at the same time as the fog lights. So this allows me to save just a little bit of battery life, not having to turn on my headlight and my tail light, because if I turn everything on, I do lose about 2 to 3 miles of range having all the lights on. But this is why I did this, to be able to use my separate Talentcell battery pack that I can just flick on with a switch. When I flick on the switch, the rear red ambient lights now turn on, as well as the fog lights in the front. So this is pretty cool. With that said though, I basically just traveled the wire from the dash cam all the way in here, this way, across over here to this side. There is a little entrance here where you can put your finger through, and you can kind of see right there, look, here's my finger going through the hole there. You can travel it through there, and it goes all the way across this way to the opposite side going this way. And I will turn the camera around to show you guys how I traveled the wire through here as well. But I just wanted to show you that. Now regarding this, that I have this open right now, man, I want to give you guys a friendly warning. If you have an RS, look guys, this is not a bad model. This is a freaking kick-ass model. I love this RS, dudes. I'm not even joking. I adore this freaking RS. This thing is my baby. This thing takes me everywhere, guys. This thing can keep up with any car. I've never had a scooter of this caliber until I got the RS. However, it is a very, very sensitive scooter, and I can't state that enough. Look, a while back I had made a video about a 209 and 109 error code, right? I'm pretty sure the guys that are subscribed to me and watching this video now, you guys remember that. Here's what happened. When this rear sine wave controller burned out, it was because I had connected these little lights here in the back to this ambient lighting plug. I was told by Inmotion, by 3 Inmotion reps, and thankfully they left their names, which allowed me to be able to back myself up with this. But they told me that this plug right here is for ambient lighting, and it turns on and turns off when you power on and off the scooter. You do not have any other way of powering this down unless you power down the scooter. I was told I can put a 12 volt LED light up to 12 watts of current draw. They were completely wrong. These little LED lights that I have here on the bottom here, where I'm pointing at, these lights are only 3 watts each. And unfortunately, I was not able to connect these for too long, because after 2 to 3 days, the sine wave controller burned out. And I do not recommend that you guys plug anything to this cable. Please don't. Avoid touching this cable at all costs. There's a reason why they have a cover on it, because you can take it off, but there's a reason why they have a cover on it, and it's probably because it wasn't really intended to be used after they probably figured out, oh shit, we burned out the sine wave controller. Maybe it's better off for us not to touch this and leave it like this, so this way these units don't burn out. Now, thankfully for me, being able to get the upgraded sine wave controllers, I went from 50 amps to 60 amps. So now I have the same sine wave controllers as the Kickstarter group guys with their faster, I think 10,000 watts of max output for the sine wave controllers to the motors instead of being capped at 8400. So it does waste more power, but it's a lot more quicker in acceleration. And I even had to drop the acceleration down in order to get this to like really chill. With that said, guys, so now that I give you guys this friendly warning, let me take you over to the other side so I can show you guys how I have the rest of the dash cam cable mounted. Alrighty, my friends, so here's the last side. I'm going to show you guys on how I mounted this dash cam here in the rear for anybody that actually wants to do this. And this is going to be, again, man, for any motorcycle grade dash cam you choose to go with, be it the LBW or be it the Chigee AIO5. The choice is yours, right? I had to travel the cable across this way, like I had mentioned earlier, across here and down this way above the motor area. And this here is just the plug for the turn signal that I have right here in this area. This is the turn signal. This is the ambient lighting now that used to be the turn signal. That's wired up to my Talentcell battery. But I have the wire traveling across this way, over to here like this, how you see it, and traveling all the way up here to this point. And right here you can see I have zip ties on the actual frame of the fender in the rear. And I found this standard L-shaped looking bracket inside of a box, and I chose to use that. And all I did was I decided to make a hole in the back so that I can mount it to the stock bracket here in the back, and then just mount the dash cam over to this bracket and screw it down. And that was pretty much it. And all I got to do is just adjust it up or down, and I'm good to go when it comes to my vision of the back. Now, there is a little bit of vibration, just not an excessive amount, because this dash cam can do up to 1080p at 60 frames per second. But in order to achieve that, you can't use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. However, if you use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, it reduces the frame rate to 30 frames per second, but it does have image stability as well as the LBW. The Wolfbox G930 records at 4K at 24 frames for the front and 1080 at 24 frames for the rear, and there is no image stability, so it shakes like crazy, which is why I'm going to be recommending you guys either the Chigee AIO5 or the LBW Dashcam that I have on the Roadrunner Pro. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so with that explanation done, this is going to conclude the walkthrough of how I was able to install the Dashcam into my Inmotion RS. And pretty much this is going to be the same for any other scooter like the Segway GT1, the Cruiser V2, Cabo Wolf King GTR, any scooter you want to try to install it that requires the cable to run through a deck, it's going to have to be ran in this way. With that said, let me go ahead and start putting all of this back together so that this way I can show you guys the other two dash cams, which is the LBW that's on the Roadrunner Pro and also the Wolfbox G930 that is on the Segway GT1 and the 9 Max G2. Alrighty, my friends, so I had to switch over to my Samsung Galaxy Note 20, so I hope the video quality looks okay. It's been pretty bad here when it comes to the brightness outside because it's just been really gloomy. We have a lot of overcast and it's been a little bit harder to try to record videos with decent lighting. So I hope you guys are able to see this okay. So as you guys can see here, I have 5 scooters out of 8 that are out here right now. Starting with the Duotron here. The Duotron belongs to my friend. It doesn't belong to me, but it needs some work. It actually needs the front and rear brake pads replaced because they're at about 50% life. And then if you look closer also here to the brake lever, it's pretty bad when it comes to the pressure that is in the line. So this lets me know here that it has air inside. And the way you can find out is as you start pumping this thing, just like this, right? You can kind of hear noises. Okay. And once you pump, look, check it out. It actually lifted up a little bit more away from the handlebar grip. Now the one on this side over here, this one is fine. You can see right here, this has a great amount of distance from the grip to the actual brake lever. Alright, so if you're wondering how would you install a dash cam on something like this, especially since there's a battery pack inside of this stem here, it's impossible to get any more wiring in there. and I don't know how to open this thing up either, so it's kind of difficult to work with. I would actually have to install the wire on the outside with some zip ties. It's not going to look nice, but I'm going to try to do my best, travel it all the way down this way, across this way here, not through here, but try to get it as much as we can through this area here that's also like damaged here, like it's like thing is sticking out, but travel it through the same area all the way down to the deck down here and try to get the wire in here. From there, the rear camera will have to be installed on that side right there, because it would be impossible to install it right there. So that's just one way of doing it. One cool thing about this though, and I'm going to show you guys the front real quick, because it has a battery already for the swag lights. It has this plug right here, and you can actually plug it in to the 5 volts 1 amp plug and get power, so that you don't have to worry about needing a external type of battery bag like you have to have with basically all of these scooters that are here. So that is a pretty cool feature and a good convenience, but again, it's a very difficult scooter to work on and to work with. When I replace the brake pads on this thing, I'm gonna have to drop that big ass motor down in order to get access to the nut brakes and bleed out the line, and also swap out the brake pads. So it's gonna take a bit of work. Alrighty, my friends, so talking about the Wolfbox G930 here on the 9-bot Max G2, as well as the Segway GT1. You guys can see right here how this thing has to be positioned in order for you to be able to see the front of the dash cam like really well. The rear doesn't matter, because the rear is already positioned in the back right here. For example, here's how the dash cam is on the rear, so you can actually see this no matter how you have the display. However, because this is a mirror dash cam, the camera for the front is actually built in to the back of the mirror body, and it's the same thing here for the Segway 9-bot Max G2. In fact, I'm going to take you guys over to the front of the scooter so you can see the monstrosity of an install that I had to make on this one in order to get this to work. Because again, these mirror dash cams, though they're about the same price as the LBW, they're not meant for scooters or motorcycles, they're meant for cars. So let me go ahead and show you guys the front real quick. Alrighty, my friends, so we're in front of my Segway 9-bot Max G2, and as you guys can see, look at how I had to install this thing. I do have a handlebar extender here on the bottom, because this is where I have my Acrunu light, but I have it maxed out. I can't drop this bracket any lower, because if I do, then I have to have this light facing more down to the ground, and I do not want to do that, especially on something like the 9-bot Max G2. I need people to be able to see me in this freaking scooter whenever I'm in the bike lane, because this thing doesn't go that fast. It only goes up to 22 miles an hour, and the torque isn't as fast as, let's say, the Segway GT1, the Roadrunner Pro, or even the RS, yet alone this Duotronics Limited. So you guys can see, look, there's a custom mounted bracket that I made right here at the top here. This is a custom bracket, and not everybody has the capability of being able to make something like that, yet alone have a router table in their basement or garage like the way I do. And like I mentioned earlier, this dash cam is already positioned where it needs to be, but it has a very limited range of motion. For example, this is as far as I can turn it to the left, this is as far as I can turn it to the right, this is as far as it can go up, and this is as far as it can go down. You see that? It's like very limited, and the only other option we have is having it stick out a little bit. But even if you have it stick out a little bit, the camera is still going to function exactly the same. It's not going to make a difference. So this is what sucks about having something like the Wolfbox G930. Now, in the beginning, I was recommending this one. The main reason why is because it only requires 5 volts 3 amps to power, and you don't need much other than just that. And it uses USB-C, so if you have a small power bank that can do, you know, 5 volts 2 amps or 5 volts 3 amps, then you're good to go to power this dash cam. But again, it took a lot of work to be able to install it, and a lot of parts, and having these RAM mount parts are super expensive. A great example is my Segway GT1. Right here is the Segway GT1, and as you guys can see, look at how much more monstrous this thing looks. And this has to be positioned this way because of the fact that the mirror dash cam is, for the front, is right here, right behind it. So if it wasn't here and I could separate it like I can with the LBW Dashcam or the Chigee AIO5, I can actually position this to be more comfortable, but I can't because the mirror is built in. And again, this is made for a car, but you can see the same style bracket right here. And obviously you can see some damage there from the accident that I had on this thing on the bike lane, as well as here at the bottom, some curb rash all the way to the back. You can see it, but the scooter still works. I did have to remove the mirrors from here because this got stuck, and this was causing the throttle here to get stuck as well. From here you can kind of see that it's kind of damaged here, so I'm gonna have to get this changed out. But right now I'm still working with the Sweet James guys, and I do have an update for you guys on that I'm just going to go ahead and share, say screw it. But let me show you guys how I mounted this one. This one is using everything that's ram mount related. This bracket that you see here, all of this right here, all the way to that bottom bracket that you see here in the bottom underneath the display, was over $100 just to buy this stuff. This is why I'm no longer recommending the Wolfbox G930, because the Wolfbox G930 is about $120. Then you got to pay an extra $40 for the WDR camera, and then another like $100 or so for all of this custom bracket stuff that you're going to have to install. And that's not including the plastic bracket that I made here for this thing, because normally it has like rubber straps that go on the top and bottom and goes over an actual mirror of a car. But down here you can kind of see, if I make it bright enough, you can see the screws that I mounted underneath in the bottom. Those are M4 screws. I don't remember the length, but they're M4s, and I used the washer to be able to mount them underneath the display. So I just removed 2 out of the 4 screws and was able to mount it, since it has like metal type inserts on the back of the display, and made it very easy for me to install this bracket. Would I change this out? Probably not, because it was very difficult to install. The area right here around the neck here, this area right here, is very narrow, and I actually had to cut the M6 or M8 Gillette plug from the dash cam for the rear in order to get the wire to pass through here, and then I had to resolder it once I got it to the battery deck. And yeah, it was a lot of work, and I don't recommend doing that for this one. So now that I showed you guys that, now I'm going to show you guys the LBW that is on the Roadrunner Pro. These are the 2 dash cams that I'm actually recommending to you guys. Now again, like I mentioned before, the Chigee AIO5 has a lot of features, but they're useless for an electric scooter. The only useful stuff that's on it, it has, like I said before, it has image stability, it has 1080p at up to 60 frames per second if you do not use the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But what's the fun in that and not using it? So 1080p at 30 frames per second. But it has HDR. So it has HDR for the front, HDR for the rear, so it helps you see things a little bit better in the nighttime. It also helps you see things a little bit better during the day as well when it comes to getting license plates off of the dash cam. And it does use an app to be able to download the videos from the dash cam over to your smartphone. Now this one does not, but this one has a little one up on it, and that is it can record up to 2K resolution for the front and rear at up to 30 frames per second. Alrighty guys, getting a closer look at the LBW Dashcam on the Roadrunner Pro. You can see this little bulky area here. That right there, my friends, is the Dashcam's GPS sensor, or the antenna. It's built into the body, dudes, so you don't have to worry about mounting that anywhere else. It's on the body. And as you guys can see right here on the side, it only has 3 cables. It has 2 cables for your front and rear dash cam and 1 cable for your power output. And one cool thing about this one, that I'll try to do an unboxing of this later on next year, but it actually has the option of powering it with 12 volts or powering it under USB-A with 5 volts 2 amps. This is actually a really good dash cam. It may not have all the features like the blind spot monitoring that something like the Chigee AIO5 has, but for the value of the money, this is a great option. And again, check this out guys, what you see here mounted right now underneath the display And this bracket, that's what it comes with. It has the capability of mounting on a handlebar for a scooter. Dude, this is genius. I don't even know why the hell I didn't think about getting something like this before instead of the Wolfbox G930. But again, it's priced at around $200. But again, you do get TPMS sensors. The TPMS sensors are a little bit on the bulky side. You can see them right there. You see an F for the front, and there's one that says R for rear. But that's how it looks like. So let me go ahead and show you guys the difference here. Here's the Chigee AIO5. Again, this is how I have this one mounted, right? And I had to buy extra stuff just for that one. This one here, this is with the mount already like on it. This is what it comes with. All you have to do is just simply screw it down to your scooter. That's it. Pretty cool, huh? So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put these scooters away, and I'm going to be showing you the dash cam features on both these units right now, the Chigee AIO5 and also the LBW Dashcam on the Roadrunner Pro. Alrighty, my friends, I hope you guys can see this well because it looks like it wants to start raining. I'm going to go ahead and do a startup of each screen. We're going to start off with the Chigee AIO5 first, and then go over to the LBW Dashcam. There you go. That's the startup of the Chigee AIO5. Let's go on over to the LBW. All right, and this is the LBW. And that is the startup screen for the LBW. Alrighty, my friends, so I hope you guys can see this okay because it looks like it wants to start to rain. I do have this thing right now with the main menu screen. This is what it looks like, okay? And you can see that it has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the panel replay button, your settings buttons, and Bluetooth setup, as well as your driving recorder, which is your button for your front and rear dash cam to show up on the display. This does not have a split screen in the way where like you can see it on the Wolfbox G930. It actually has a picture-in-picture like the Chigee AIO5. But talking about the TPMS that it has built in, you can go under panel, and you can see right there that the front wheel says 42 psi and the rear wheel says 47. This is what you get along with the compass for your GPS information. When you exit out, you can see here that you have your settings. Under your settings, you're able to adjust the brightness, your tire pressure sensor, which I have it here set up to be under PSI and Fahrenheit instead of Celsius and bar graphs. And then also when the tire warning goes low, it'll actually give you a little alarm and it'll chime for you and it'll let you know. The lowest I have it to is 30, the highest is 60 on this thing, and it's pretty easy to set up. With that said, you have your speed units, the screensaver, which under the screensaver, make sure you select it to off, because if you have it on, it'll actually turn off the screen while you're riding, and you don't want to do that. So leave it off so it doesn't turn off on you. You have your phone audio, your key volume, Wi-Fi switch. You can format your SD card, do a factory reset, or the app version, which is this is what it does here for this. But again, even with this app version, it doesn't have like over-the-air updates or anything like that, so you're kind of like left with what you get. And when you push this button right here, this right here is how you see your dash cam right here. We can keep moving this to the side. This is the front dash cam. This is the picture-in-picture I was talking about. The rear dash cam is the bigger screen, the front dash cam is the smaller screen. And then the same when you switch it again. Small screen is on the back side, large screen is on the front. And again, going back to the rear screen. And something about this thing is that every time you power it down and power it back on, the time resets, so you have to set up your time all over again. That's kind of annoying. When it comes to the Android Auto, you'll be able to see it on the Chigee AIO5. It's basically identical, but again, this is a an advantage of the Chigee A05 versus this one records with 2K resolution, which is 1440p at up to 30 frames per second automatically. You can change it to 1080p if you want. Mine came with it's set up to 1080p, but once you set it to QFHD, you're good to go. So with that said, let me go ahead and take you guys over to the Chigee AIO5, because this is pretty much all the features you get with the LBW. But again, my dudes, for under $200 versus $599 to start, this is a hell of a deal. So let's go ahead and go on over to the Chigee AIO5. So something else on this LBW Dashcam that I did want to show you guys, besides the power that I'm going to show you guys, is how I was able to mount it to the rear of the Roadrunner Pro. You can see here, this is how it looks, the bracket, and it's a very simple bracket. It's not as heavy duty as that of the Chigee AIO5, man, that's for sure. So I would recommend that you guys try to use some zip ties to tighten this down on the side of the adhesive that it comes with. But this is the rear. Let me show you guys the front real quick. And this right here is the front of the dash cam, and again, you can see that underneath I have the adhesive on, and right at the top you can see the zip tie that's holding it down to make sure that it doesn't move out of place. So let me go around real quick and show you guys the wiring for the power that I have here on this Wildman bag. This is a 3-liter Wildman bag, and it kind of looks like a little mini gas tank, but I wanted to show you guys how I have this thing powered on. So one cool thing about this is that it has the option of using a USB-A cable, and as you guys can see right here, check it out, voltage 5 volts, current above 2 amps, but it can actually take 1 amp. And the battery that I'm using for it is this Anker battery right here under USB-C, and it's a pretty cool little battery. It does up to 12 amp hours, and it's at 90%, so it's not bad. It's been sitting inside of my basement for 2 days, so not bad. I do have to charge it up though, but that's all I wanted to show you. This is how simple it is to use this. I do plan on installing this on my son's solar EQ, so when I do an unboxing of it, I'll be able to show you guys all of the contents of the LBW Dashcam. Alrighty, my friends, and as you guys can see right here, this is the Chigee AIO5. You can see that on the main menu screen it shows your speedometer reading, GPS compass, your tire pressure is automatically set up on the front here. That's one thing that I like about this versus the LBW that doesn't show you that on any other screens unless you go over to the panel icon. But this one shows you the stuff, and you can see that it has CarLink. You would select CarLink to get into your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You got your video for your front and rear dash cam, your meter, which is this right here. This is kind of useless, though it kind of works, but it's useless because it doesn't show you RPM stats or anything like that. You can just see the voltage is at 12.1 right now. And this is what I was talking about, guys, regarding it having OBD2 through Bluetooth for motorcycles. There's a lot of features on this thing that are completely useless on this Chigee AIO5 for the electric scooter community. But you can see the settings here. Under the settings, you have your DNV, which is for your display and video. This is so you can adjust the display. You have your storage. So you can see here we have about 13 gigabytes used so far because the dash cam's been on recording both the front and rear dash cam. We go back, you can do the download feature right here. This is how you can use the app. It'll say stop recording, and you'll see the information there that it says that you can use the app. And then once you're ready to download a video, you have to click the little toggle switch here up, and you go into the Chigee Go app and be able to download your footage from your camera once you select your video. Over here, you have over-the-air updates. So when you select updates, you can see that this is the current version, but you can check for updates through Wi-Fi. You cannot do that with the LBW. From there, you have your reset button and your about button. The about button has the serial number of this unit, so I don't want to display that, but it shows you the serial number. Under more features, you can see that you can change it from kilometers to miles. From temperature, you can change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And then a rest reminder, which I have off because it will tell you like every 15 to 20 minutes, hey, take a break, pull over kind of deal. So that's kind of annoying. With that said, that's about it for the features on this one. Here's what the camera looks like in the front, so you guys can take a good look there. And you can see, look, right here, you can see that I have the 46 PSI for the front and rear. And it tells you your TPMS. That's one thing that I kind of wish that LBW over there had, but it doesn't. But I mean, it's okay. It's not a deal breaker. You know, again, this is a $600 unit to start. That one over there is under 200. So, you know, you get what you pay for, technically speaking. But you got your little gauge for your miles per hour. And this right here is actually the front camera. It is under picture in picture, so you can kind of see that right there. The rear camera there under picture in picture, and then you have the bigger screen as your main video. If we switch it, we can go ahead and select the little toggle switch right here, and that'll switch us to the other one. You can see right there that it already says front and rear for the big one. Tap it again, you have your front camera. Tap it again. This is where I usually have it at, which is your rear camera. And that right there, my friends, is pretty much the dash cam, how it actually is, how it works and everything. I do have the Android Auto, which I do have set up. If I go under CarLink, and the other one does the same thing, you can see the display where it shows you all your GPS information. This one over here does exactly the same thing. You just have to have it paired to your phone. Unfortunately, this one paired faster to my Samsung Galaxy Note 20. So this is why it's not showing up over there on that side. But that's it, my friends, for this little walkthrough real quick of the Dashcam features. I'm not going to go over these buttons because these buttons are basically just to toggle between the menu settings on the screen. That's all it's for. It's not for anything else. But yeah, let me go ahead and start wrapping this up so I can talk to you guys real quick about the accident that happened with the lady and the Segway GT1, and also let you guys know a little something personal that happened to me during the Christmas time. So let me take you guys over to the basement. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be concluding the video. Because of how long this video was, I decided not to talk about the personal situation with my family that almost ruined Christmas for us, as well as the situation update with Sweet James and that lady who cut me off on the bike lane. There isn't that much to report, man. So regarding that, so I'm going to hold off until I have something more interesting to talk to you guys about regarding that. Right now, everything is still up in the air, but I am very happy that I had dash cam footage for this accident, because this is what helped me be able to hire an injury lawyer in the first place to get this person for what she did and fleeing the scene. So it's still something that I highly recommend you do. So let me know in the comments if you had a choice of a dash cam, right? Which one of the three would you go with? Would you go with the Chigee AIO5 that's like fully loaded for a motorcycle and has nice features like HDR, an app-based software that you can use to download your videos easier on your phone, and also blind spot monitoring and the TPMS that shows up on the screen? Or would you go for something a little bit more affordable, that like the LBW over the Wolfbox G930, because it costs about the same price to get the LBW, and you're getting Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and on top of that you're also getting free TPMS, which is something that the Wolfbox G930 does not offer. So let me know in the comments, man, what you guys think. I think it's pretty cool. I will leave a link in the descriptions for those dash cams and a couple of things that I have on the scooters. I'm not 100% sure if they're still available, but if they are, there will be a link in the description for you guys to go check them out and see the pricing and see what you guys might want to pick up. Again, there's no affiliation with any of these companies other than the scooter brands, but I do recommend them based on my usage. I really like the Chigee AIO5 a lot, and if I can afford to buy it again, I definitely would. But the LBW is another really good alternative to the Chigee AIO5. So speaking about that alternative, I do have a LBW Dashcam that's brand new in the box that I'm going to be installing in my son's solar EQ. So keep an eye on that video for next year, because I will be making a thorough video of the unboxing and the installation
of the dash cam from start to finish. So this may be even more helpful than this video right here that was longer. So with that said, guys, make sure to give a thumbs up to the video so it helps the algorithm. Comment down below with your opinion, what you guys thought about everything. And if by any chance this happens to be the last video I record for 2024, I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas or holiday, and I wish you guys all a beautiful happy new year. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace for now.